is around a multi-level type of funding and financial streams, if you like. And I think what I'd like to do first is, when I've spoken to various marketing professionals, they said to me, if you can't find words to capture your business within 60 seconds, then actually you don't know what you're talking about. So thought about it, and I think I'm going to finish the presentation before I start, so I'll give you 4 words. First word is pressure. The second word is patient flow, or 2 words. Third word is productivity, and the 4th word is profits. So patience, pressure, patience, productivity, and profits. Okay. So the highlights really of this presentation to you are listed here. I'm going to give a strategic overview of the healthcare system in the UK. I'll try and highlight key areas to watch within healthcare generally in the UK at the moment. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my background, my experience and my USP, and harking back to what Bill was saying a couple of minutes ago about, what is it that makes you the person to drive your business forward, or the idea for investment, the benefits of the business and the amount requested. I think what I'll do first is I will go and talk a little bit about me. I think from where I'm coming from, it's very much a journey of understanding the healthcare system within the UK. I studied at Sussex University. I am an economics graduate. I also did a postgraduate course of studies within macroeconomics, and I finished by the age of 22. So I really took the first, if you like, 5-6 years of my adult life to get my brain round the health economy and what it's all about, and how patient flows affect profits, affect finance, your push and pull factors and all of that. So I'm saying all that to say that it's not just about the experience I have, it's also backed up with quite a lot of painful but enjoyable study at the end of the day as well. I have over 15 years track record as a senior exec within the government sector, within the health sector across government and private. So for example, I finished an assignment within Westminster about 12 months ago as one of their first tri-borough directors. So government trialled if you like, a test drive of what it would be like to pull various local authority resources together across 3 or 4 areas. And they decided to trial this across the centre of London. So they worked across Westminster, Kensington, Hammersmith, and there's one other that I've forgotten, but there were 4. And they hired about 4 or 5 directors who would lead this large-scale transformational change to actually bring together patients from the healthcare sector and from the social care sector, and bring the budgets together in order to develop this new style of treatment and care. And I was one of the directors that they chose to do that job. So I have to say I feel very privileged to be in the position to stand here and talk to you about that. It was an exciting, challenging, but also eye-opening experience as to what could be possible within the UK health sector. And I think never before has there been that opening and opportunity within the country now to actually take advantage of some areas and gaps and really make a difference. Because for me, as I was discussing with Alan, it's people first. Yes, we do business, but people are at the centre of all of this for me. So that's enough about me. Okay. So I think the key things I'd like to highlight within the health system at the moment is there's a lot of policy papers being written about, how will our healthcare system change? What is the difference that it needs to make in order to help the patients, which, you know, at some point will be you and me, or is you and me, depending on where you are, to actually get through the system in a very simple, very efficient and cost-effective way. And this is the government's point of view. So there's been lots of paperwork, lots of policy discussions around that. And one of the things that is very much, if you like, a flavour of the month, and I know a lot of my colleagues, both in government and private, talk about it as being, you know, the sexy face of care, is around the integrated models of care. So this is really when you bring together your doctors, your allied professionals, your social care experts, to actually work around one individual, so the patient being at the centre. So a lot of policy discussions around this model of care as being the, panacea of all woes, as it were. And what I just want to talk a little bit about now is the pressure aspect, which I talked to you about initially. There's the change in the country at the moment, and it actually started building up about 10 years ago, where we have, through, you know, our very, very good healthcare processes and systems, people are living longer. You know, people are living past 65, even people with learning disabilities now are living into their 70s, whereas 10 years ago, actually, within their 40s and 50s, they'd be going out the door. So what we're having is a lot of pressure in the country at the moment, with people living much, much longer and living with different sorts of, presentations and illnesses. So you could have Sandra Bullock walking into the General Hospital with maybe a case of chronic diabetes, a case of dementia, and also something else that she's managing all at the same time. Not that I think she's having that now, but that is very possible and is happening now as we speak. So what you're having is a lot of people that are beyond that 65 level living and projected to live till they're 80, 90 with these, multiplicity of presentations. And this graph here really just talks about how that pressure increases over the next 20 years. So at the moment, we're looking at about 5 or 6% of the population growing every 5 years with these conditions. So you imagine a country of about 160 million people growing in terms of having those conditions 5 years at a time. I mean, I know that, it's not a place for, economics or figures, but if you can imagine it, then you're actually imagining, say, 3 or 4 million people a year coming into the system with that. So literally, I'm setting the scene for you as to why this opportunity is very good. On top of all of that, throwing more figures at you, a lot of the older people within our economy are actually making money. They're working, they're millionaires, they're contributing at the moment about 40 billion to the UK economy. And by 2030, it's going to go up to 127 billion. So if you look at that expanse of time of literally 10, 12 years, and a triple increase in the amount of money people of a certain age will be contributing to the economy, that's a lot of money over a short period of time. To support all of this, there have been several legislative, policies and bills that have come out. For example, last year we had what we call our Health and Social Care Bill, which supports everything that I've been saying about a new way, a different way of delivering care. So, from my estimation, these are several ways that I think going forward we'll probably begin to see a lot of businesses coming up. People focusing on out-of-hospital care, so everything that surrounds the actual acute hospital is open for grabs. From my point of view, I think a lot of foreign players are coming in as well. So you've got your Virgins, you've got German companies, and a lot of them coming in to take up these opportunities to help us in this country develop the care to people before they get to hospital and also they come out of hospital. Technology is also a key one, and I think at the moment there is a lot of opportunity to work around not with people who are getting older, but actually people with different present health, such as learning disabilities, to give mental health and so on. And just to give you a bit of a background, I'm currently working with a private company and in order to develop to experts within the sector to do travel training learning technologies. These could help leave people with on disability and be able to support their home, demand their own, and go to the shop, and go to the cinema to buy that themselves. And originally they have been able to do the very cause of condition there as well. So that is a very big area. Since I did that, really that starts. So company we start. I would say 12 months to bring consulted to deliver, but this to consultancy, local or central government around the but also after look out authorities related to care things, support, talk to you about knowledge, integrate on care, around technology and so forth. Say in terms what I would see done is the financial aspect, more about financial history, actual and journals. They're all business and I've never brokerage to it is again spoke very difficult service. About here called intricate sure they talk about this is but the area rest of government is still now a key to actually see that we've got to looking for support authority support to provide what I would local more customer provide to patient for and our efficient having a care balance a couple of minutes. I know I was out discussion with these customers while they pay to go about and from our view with customers or vacations, I've pointed those words both put away business and become thinking people can't customer care illness practice and customize. So you need to station thinking at the same time commercial about stuff we deal with this in a way, this in fact house of coming into this increase flux. The second people career is a system auditing, developing the air capital around also that and about looking social what in the community can really together looking at what support the community support coming through. So the first piece is around who are being more third is around developers it. So we've heard about this essential care, we've heard about resident care. It's now we've heard taking up one of these all things working about businesses and already redesign where they operate. That's the third most. The fourth thing to those is linked with that as well. And also, so the benefits of this business opportunity, what my is already doing is, and we're supporting hospitals, med flow situations, and hospital efficiency. We're working with clients, please carry out who can meet the highest can from government. For example, Harry, you could have so Tom Jones, for example, I keep on mentioning these zones. I'll use somebody like Barry Edwards, who would start in to social care development within a local community, have social an assessment to see what they need. They could be walking us out with a £3,000 linkage per week. Just built around them, and you multiply that across the whole authority, which has 250,000 people, minimum that are in that plan. So looking at quite a lot of finance flows there. One of the other benefits is designing and implementing integrated pathways, like I've said, leveraging assets. A lot of local authorities are looking to work with companies like myself who would want to take advantage of these new gaps and are looking to back that up with pension funds, with all sorts of financing. So again, that is another key area, and also partnership with world-class professionals as well. So there's a lot actually that the business opportunity does offer. I am one of the founders and the CEO of the company, and I think from my point of view, it's about having people at the centre of the business. Yes, it's about having multiple funding streams and funding flows, but it's about having the care of the person, which is paramount, but also creating financial flows from that. So therefore you have a balance. It's not just looking at people as a pound sign, but it's about offering them the best care, offering them the best services, and making profit from that. Thank you.
Go back to the previous slide. When you're looking at number shouldn't they be doing this already?
Yes. The question is, the answer is yes.
They're being paid for doing it.
But the question is who is being paid. Like I said, there's been a lot of development within the UK health system at the moment where you have mass exoduses of people who would be able to do those jobs for, whatever reason there is, whether it's lack of expertise, whether it's lack of work conditions that are not favourable. So people are actually moving out of the hospitals there, and therefore the hospitals are in a very vulnerable state at the moment, actually having those gaps and nobody to fill those gaps intellectually and professionally. So you have companies like myself coming in to support them to do that job, and a lot of hospitals, I would say, have been recruiting to these kinds of roles for 6-7 months, no takers. So again, that's why.
So you're saying it's a manpower situation, it's not a policy situation, because if you had something like somebody has had surgery, pain management, is that part of the surgery, or is it a fund where we say, no, this is post-surgery, because that always comes up. So now you have not a policy issue, but here we have a manpower issue.
I think it's almost like an orange. That's the only way I could describe it, where you have one orange, but within it, many segments. So it's both, in the sense that you have policy, which I harked back to earlier, saying, you now have in legislation the ability to mix hospital budgets with social care budgets to actually get what you need done. But you're also having a situation where, because of where hospitals have been in the past, they're really struggling to get people with that expertise to come in and fill those gaps. So it's a play.